And just like that, we are back. It's Mazzi and it's LiveZone. We're on your screen and in your ear. Ready for football season is back. Week 1 starting Thursday the 5th. That's 2 days from when we're recording this. So let's get it, LiveZone. What's up? How you doing?
We got a lot to talk about. Week 1 of the NFL in the projects right now. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about running back situations. We're going to be talking about the top 3 in the 2 best spots for the NFL. We're going to be talking about Week 1 games and power rankings. Let's get into it.
Lots to do, lots to say, lots to think, lots to see. We're starting off with our top 3 running backs and our top 3 receivers that we think are going to have the best week 1 games and have the best outcomes. LiveZone, I'm going to pass it off to you. I want to know about your running backs to start. What is your number 1 running back to look out for in week 1?
Well, this is all depending on if Christian McCaffrey plays or not. Looking like Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for at least 3 weeks with that injury that he has on his calf. I'm going with Bijan as my number 1 running back. He's going against the Pittsburgh defense, but he's looking to average 18.6 points in fantasy. I think it's going to be a little bit above that. I think they're going to utilize him to win the game. I think that he ends up with at least 20 to 21 points in fantasy. So I'm picking Bijan for my number 1.
Being a threat out of the backfield to catch and run with the ball in open space too. Can see that utilized, but the Steelers defense, we don't know. It's week 1, so we don't know what we're going to get from people, so it's all hearsay. I do like the pick, though. I'm going with a bunch of old heads for mine that are now old heads to us, but I remember when these guys first came in the league. I'm going with the Texans, Joe Mixon, to have a hot start in week 1. It's week 1. Anything can happen. You got to win games how you can win games. I think C.J. Stroud's going to get the Texans down the field a lot, but I think Joe Mixon's going to punch that ball in, get a couple of touchdowns here, maybe have a 50, 60-yarder with a couple TDs. Not a bad start for him.
Yeah, not a bad start at all. I think that he'll be all right. I do think that he'll have a big game for the Houston Texans, but they have so many options right now.
Yeah.
I just can't put him on my top 3. My number 2, I'm going with James Cook. Going against Arizona, looking like he's going to average 17.3 points in fantasy. Once again, I see this happening where they're going to utilize him a lot. I think that he's going to be overutilized. I think he's going to have 19 to 20 points in fantasy. But this could also go higher. He could end up in the 23, 24 range. But right now I'm taking James Cook at number 2 with 20 points in fantasy.
I like it going up against the Arizona Cardinals. We know that there's not much going on down there. My second one, again, another name that's become a staple in the league, Josh Jacobs out of Green Bay. I do think he's going to play a large role in their season this year. I think they're going to utilize him on third downs, at the goal line, wherever they need him to get some yards for them. He's just a rough and tumbling player. He's going to fall forward always for an extra 2-3 yards. Josh Jacobs, I mean, the name says itself. From the Raiders over to wherever else he goes, he's always putting up at least 7 to 8 touchdowns in a season, and he's always right around 1,000-yard seasons. So that's Josh Jacobs, just a staple in the industry at this point.
That's a surprising pick to me. I would have personally put him in top 10, not top 3. But I do like the pick. It could happen on the team that he went to.
It's just week 1.
Yeah, it's just week 1. Like you said, we're gonna see what teams have the kinks that they need to work on and everything like that. So I like the pick. Number 3, I'm going with Jamar Gibbs, going against the LA Rams without Aaron Donald. Gonna average 16.6 points in fantasy. I see this being an 18-point game for him. Jamar Gibbs is going to be a lock for a lot of fantasy teams this year. So whoever got him in fantasy, you're looking good in the running back position. He has the potential to be the number 1 running back in the league right now. And nobody's really talking about it because they're worried about Bijan and they're worried about the Christian McCaffrey and everything like that. I'm taking Jamar Gibbs with the 16.6, but I do think that he'll have at least 18.
All right, I do like the pick with Gibbs on your side. I think he'll have a good game against the Rams. Rounding out my top three, I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor for the Indianapolis Colts. They're going up against the Texans. We talk about the Texans' offense a hell of a lot and how many weapons they have. We have not talked about their defense as much. I think Taylor can run all over this and kind of be the only bright spot for the Colts. The rookie quarterback or second year quarterback now after being injured last season coming back, he might be a bright spot. But I think Jonathan Taylor being a veteran to his side is going to get a lot of looks, got a lot of carries, especially in the red zone. Put up a couple TDs maybe for the Colts, put them in this game a little bit. Maybe it's week one. That's the only reason why I'm kind of counting them in this game. Otherwise, if it was later in the season, I think the Texans have this handedly, and I wouldn't even be looking at him. But week one, you don't know what you're going to get, and I think Jonathan Taylor can run with the best of them, so he can come out there and put on a show.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think Jonathan Taylor could be a hell of a running back. It's just that he has to play. That's the problem
Yeah.
with him in Indy. We've seen it last year and the year before that where he bailed out, didn't want to play and everything. It was great his rookie year. We thought that we saw one of the best running backs his rookie year. Could happen. It could happen. I will say though, only bright spot. I don't agree with that because they do have Michael Pittman Jr. I think that
Mm.
he's a great wide receiver to look at. But I will say I do like the Jonathan Taylor pick.
All right. Well, those are our running backs. We also have the wide receivers to go to. Live Zone. Who's your top wide receiver to look out for this week, week one NFL?
It's controversial, but he did just get a big payday. I'm going with CD Lamb. I think that
Damn.
him going against the Cleveland Browns, averaging 20.3 points in fantasy, I think that's going to skyrocket to like 25. I really do think he's going to have one hell of a game, really being the only option other than Ferguson that has been there for years. I mean, you have Ezekiel Elliott, you have Brandon Cooks, but really what production are you going to get from them? It's either on or off every week with them. So I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb as the anchor for the Dallas Cowboys. And if they're going to win some games in this season, he's going to be the reason why.
Hey, I love the pick. I think he's a little high for me, but he's still on my top three. I have CD at number three on my list. Going against the Browns, like you said, I think there's no real defense over there, and the Cowboys need to have a year this year. The dude just got paid. He wants to go out and put on a show, especially week one. They're all ready for it. I think Dak will be slinging. I think the routes will be open. I think he's going to put up at least a touchdown in the game for sure. I'm hoping he goes over 100 yards as well. Might be placing some bets like that, but we'll save that for later on. So he's at my number three where you have him at the number one. So what's your number two?
Number two, you can't go wrong with this pick. Every single year he has to be there. I'm going with Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins, going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, averaging 19.7 points in fantasy. I like that number. I think he's going to stay right around the 19 area for fantasy. I'm picking Tyreek Hill as my number two receiver for week one.
You can't go wrong with them. You can't go wrong with them. I am looking at this list as week one alone. Do I think Tyreek Hill is going to be the decider in week one? Not for me, but I understand the pick. For my number two, I'm going Amon-Ra St. Brown out of Detroit, going up against the Rams. You know he's their number one utilized player in all downs, anywhere on the field at any point in time. He's going to get his. You said earlier, Aaron Donald not on the defense of the Rams anymore. That leaves a giant hole. I don't care who they got to replace him. It leaves a giant hole in that defense. Amon-Ra St. Brown for Detroit. I mean, that's the winning formula for them. It's pretty much what their team now that we've seen is built around, and the energy and the positivity and the pace of play and the way they play. And I love it, and it's great, and they're not going to lose that identity. So give me Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I love the pick. I'm not against the pick. The only reason why I don't have him there is because of the matchup that they have. You have You have Jared Goff going against Matt Stafford, and then after that, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown going against Puka Nakua. I think that there's going to be a lot of offense in that game. I just don't see him being the clear factor for the Detroit Lions winning, because you also have Sam Laporta, you also have on the other side for Puka Nakua, you also have Kyron Williams and you have Cooper Kupp. You have other pieces there. I definitely do like the pick, though. I have not forgotten about Amon-Ra. He's in a lot of my fantasy picks. But yeah, I love the pick. My number three, the reason why that I didn't pick Amon-Ra St. Brown here is because I'm giving the nudge to the rookie. I'm picking Marvin Harrison Jr. going against Buffalo in Buffalo, averaging 15.4 points. I'm telling you, in fantasy, get Marvin Harrison early while you can, because next year he's going to be a number 1 or 2 pick with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Marvin Harrison is the guy. He's going to be one of the best receivers in the league. And honestly, at the end of the day, I would not be surprised if he ends up being better than his father. So I'm picking Marvin Harrison.
Hot takes. Hot takes everywhere. Damn, that's crazy. You went with a rookie at your number 3. I went with a rookie at my number 1 because you know how high this man is sitting on my board, and I really hope he doesn't prove me wrong because I've said it about 4 or 5 times now. Bears are going up against the Titans. Give me Romeo Odunze to have a hell of a game 1 with the rookie at quarterback, Caleb Williams, looking for that connection to link up. They do have DJ Moore. They have Keenan Allen as well. But I think Romeo's going to be that. Romeo's going to be the guy that is forgotten about. And I just think he's going to be open. And he's going to make the catches and he's going to make the plays. I was watching him in college. He made ridiculous catches from Penix at Washington. So I'm ready for Romeo Odunze to have a day.
I'm there with you. Rome is definitely on my board as well. Like I said, I would put him top 10. I just can't put him below the 5 guys that I mentioned with CD, Tyreek, Marvin, Amon-Ra, and I also have Puka Nakua in my top 5. I just can't put him up there, but I do like the pick. He's a sneaky pick. Another sneaky pick that nobody's talking about is Tank Bell or Tank
Yes.
Dell. Tank Dell. Tank
Yep.
Dell is another sneaky pick in Houston, but I like the pick. I like the sneaky picks. I like everything about it. But going into that, I mean, let's talk about some running backs while we're at it, right? We have some running back situations here. Situation in Carolina, you have 3 running backs, all could be your number 1 running back. Nobody knows who's going to be the number 1 running back for Carolina. You got Chuba Hubbard, 559 yards. It's looking like he's averaging for the season. Then you got Miles Sanders, which is averaging 413. And then you also have Jonathan Brooks, which is the 46th pick. He is out for 3 weeks, but he looks like he's going to average 656 yards and be the standout. How are you feeling about the Carolina running backs? What are you looking for? And who do you think is going to be the number 1 option?
Well, first thing I'm looking at is this is Carolina. Does this have any impact on the playoffs or the NFL season at all? Not really, in my eyes. Carolina going to be a bottom team this year again. Now, looking at the actual running backs and the running back controversy that's going on, in my eyes, it should be between Hubert and Brooks at this point. If you're not convinced with what Sanders has done since he's come back from the injury, because it's Sanders' job to lose. Okay, if he was the veteran on the team, it should be you play the way that we know you play on tape and film. You get the job. If the rookies play better than you, then there's a conversation, and now you're on the bench. So if there's a conversation being had, I don't think Sanders is anywhere near the top of this conversation. It comes down to Hubert and Brooks. And right now, off the stats that we're seeing and the things that we're saying, it's leaning towards Hubert. I don't think you can go wrong either way, because if you play 4 weeks with one and it's not really working out, or 6 weeks with one and it's not really working out, switch to the other one. It's not like you're going to be in the playoff race this year for Carolina. Figure out for next year what your team is. Your quarterback situation needs to be addressed. Your defense needs to be addressed. There's a lot of different things that need to be addressed other than your running back. So if you could solve one thing this year, do it.
I, hey, listen, I think you're hating too much on Carolina when it comes to playoffs and everything like that. I do think that they have some problems on their defense. It's no question. They had one of the worst defenses in the league last year, right? That has to be fixed. But you have Deontay Johnson now. You have Jonathan Brooks. You have Chuba Hubbard. You have Bryce Young. There's a lot to look at there for the Carolina Panthers. For me, I think it's Jonathan Brooks, right? You went out and you saw something in this Jonathan Brooks kid in the draft, picked him with the 46th pick, and now he's out for 3 weeks. But when he comes back, I think the job is his to lose. I think the rookies are going to take over for this team. I really do think that Jonathan Brooks could be a standout pick, could be a steal of the draft. But, with Chuba Hubbard there and with Miles Sanders, I mean, he has to win over the job, right? So for me, what it looks like is these two are mentoring Jonathan Brooks into that number one role. So then after that, they could either dump or trade off Miles Sanders and make Hubbard their number two running back, which is not a bad number two running back at all. So your running back situation will be solved by next year. Now it's just, all right, well, what do we do with this defense? That's where I'm looking at, because Carolina, they haven't done anything with their defense at all this offseason. So I think that's the downfall. I do think that they will get closer than they were last year. I think they'll win more than 5 games or more than 4 games, whatever it is. But I do think that they'll be better off than they were last year.
I think they'll be better off than they were last year, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I don't think that team put up more than 24 points in more than 3 games last year. So let's look at it for what it is. It's
Yeah.
Carolina. I don't 7 wins ain't gonna get it done, and that's more than 4. So
Yeah, but at the end of the day, 7 wins is a hell of a season compared to what you've been doing the last 3 seasons. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
but that's
it's a
not you're
step in the
not
right
seeing it in
direction.
the playoffs.
It's a step in the right direction, though, which is the likes of going towards the playoffs, which we cannot say about the other team that we're going to be talking about for running back situations, and the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers are in one hell of a situation, not just with their running backs, but with their wide receivers, with their defense. The only thing that's not in question is their quarterback, right? So let's take it for what it is. J.K. Dobbins, very injury prone, right? That's supposed to be your number one guy, and
Yep.
he's going to average 743 yards. Then after that, you look at Gus Edwards as your number two, going to average 759 yards. What does that tell you as the LA Chargers about J.K. Dobbins? I think that this team is in shambles right now. I think that Justin Herbert is going to have one bad season this year. And I think that, at the end of the day, I think JK could win the job. But for me, I'm looking at Gus Edwards as the number one guy. I don't know about you.
Hell yeah. I mean, I honestly, I'm not that upset about what the Chargers have for running backs. Okay, they have the 2022 running backs for Baltimore. Essentially, they got
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins and they got Gus Edwards. So I yes, they're past their prime of their production, but yes, they're injury prone. But end of the day, I don't think that's what's getting the Chargers over that hump. I think it's Justin Herbert playing to his strengths and getting everybody involved. When it comes down to the running back situation, though, I choose Edwards over Dobbins all day long. They just released that other guy, Vital, or put him on the practice squad or something. We were going to talk about him being in this conversation. Now, I honestly liked what I saw from that guy. But if you put in front of me Dobbins or Edwards right now, I mean, it's put them in a hat, shake it up, and pick one out. It doesn't really matter which way. I think you're getting the same thing. You might get a little more wear and tear out of Edwards because Dobbins has been so injury prone, but who knows? Because when Edwards has the majority of the load, he also tends to have injuries as well. So I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't think they're dead in the water, but if they both get injured, then you're dead in the water.
Well, I mean, Well, yes, but at the same time, you don't have the receivers that you had. You don't have Mike Williams anymore. You
Yeah,
don't have Keenan Allen. You don't have literally anybody there that you had last year, right? So at least they had weapons on the receiver side.
yeah,
Yes, their running back situation was bad because they had Austin Eckler, which was also another injury-prone running back. So it's like they put themselves in the same situation that they were in last year, but 10 times worse because now you didn't want to pay those receivers that were so influential on your team,
yeah.
right? So now you don't just have a mid running game, you also have a very young core for wide receivers that have not proven anything in McConkley and Brendan Rice. And then you also have a very lackluster veteran in your wide receiver core as well. I'm not liking what I see for the LA Chargers. Now, if we're talking about a team that's in shambles, I'm looking at the Chargers more than I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers. Yes, either way, this doesn't matter for a playoff race. But at the end of the day, at least the Carolina Panthers are taking the right steps to that place,
I,
you know?
I can see your logic, but I still put a bet down. Chargers win more games than the Carolina Panthers this year.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll still throw that out there. What did they even get for Keenan Allen?
They didn't get much. They got picks, I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Their
like
wide receiver is Brendan Rice and Lad McConkey.
yeah, so they have a very young core for wide receivers that have full potential,
Yeah.
but the veterans that are with them are not like they're already better than the veterans, so now you have to start these guys. You know what I mean? And that's going to be it's going to be a whole situation for the LA Chargers. I wouldn't expect anything from them this season, in my own opinion.
I don't think we're getting anything from both of them, so agreed.
Damn.
But I don't think the Chargers are doing shit. I don't think the Carolina Panthers are doing shit. I don't think the New England Patriots are doing shit. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals. I got 10 teams that are already in the bag.
All right. With that being said, we're gonna head over to Week One games. Mazzi, I'm gonna let you tell me the Week One games, and then after that, we're gonna go through it one on one.
Guess who just went 4-0 on his last four bets? This dude right here. Thanks to East Coast Sports Investors, a proud partner of the show, the Livezone Sports Show podcast. We have partnered with East Coast Sports Investors. They are the best in the business, been doing it for over 10 years, 57% win rating. They're gonna get you to win. Listen, I'm 4-0 on my last four. I'm like 8 for 10 on my last 10. It's great. I love it. It's awesome. Shout out to East Coast Sports Investors. As always, thank you. All right, we're gonna start off with Ravens Chiefs Thursday night, 8 p.m., 8:20 to be exact. Probably 8:35 with the commercials and everything. You know how it goes. Ravens Chiefs was a hell of a game to start it out. You got Lamar, 10 pounds lighter, with Derrick Henry behind him. Still's got weapons on the receivers. And then you got the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, the same defense, the same offense. You know they're
With
going to be there.
Xavier Worthy. With Xavier Worthy.
With Xavier Worthy, it's two powerhouses to start the season. Unfortunately, one of these teams is going to start week 1 0-1. LiveZone, what do you see in this matchup? What do you like? What do you not like? And who do you think wins?
I'm wearing red for a reason. I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. I don't think it will be a lights out game because these, like you said, these are two powerhouses. They're both going to score no matter what because of how great their offenses are. I just think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to start 1-0 for the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I keep it interesting. I've been on the fence about it. I mean, it's either way. It can go either way. I think the Ravens just have a little bit more of a sting from the AFC Championship game where they didn't show up at all, and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think maybe they come out and make a statement and say, "Hey, this year we're not bowing down to you guys. We don't care what game of the year it is. We're coming at you full force." And we're going to put up some points and we're going to win this game. That's the only reason why I'm leaning Ravens. I really have no reason to bet against Patrick Mahomes. You know me from last year. I rode Patrick Mahomes from week 1 all the way to the Super Bowl like I knew it was going to happen. I think Chiefs are still in that AFC Championship or Super Bowl at the end of the year. Don't know which one as of yet. I don't think a week 1 loss really hurts them at all, especially in their division as well. I think their division is going to have at least 6-game losers in there, so doesn't really matter. So give me the Ravens in a little bit of an upset at Arrowhead. Starting off the season a little worrisome for Kansas City fans and whatnot, but they'll get the ship right. So we're going to move on to Friday. We got a Friday night game. A little Brazilian game. That's going to be fire. Eagles, Packers going down in Brazil. 8:15 on a Friday. Love football on a Friday. Love it. LiveZone, who you got? What you're looking out for? Anything worrisome?
No, I do think that my MVP is going to take the first game of the season for the Green Bay Packers. I think that Jordan Love is going to show up and show out, and I think that the Packers are going to get this one done.
Absolutely, I gotta agree with you on that. Give me Jordan Love, give me Josh Jacobs, give me the Green Bay Packers defense, give me Eagles offense not running as smoothly as it has in the past few years. Jalen Hurts getting frustrated with his coach and his teammates. The defense not clicking. I don't think the Eagles are what they say they are. I still think they're a solid team, but
And for the Eagles fans, I know that you're going to say, "Oh, we have all the weapons in the world. We have Devontae Smith. We have Saquon Barkley. We have AJ Brown." But at the end of the day,
you're
you're
only as good as your
missing.
quarterback.
No, you're missing your two best linemen because they just retired.
Mm.
So I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the Green Bay defense. I'm saying that there's going to be a lot of sacks in this game.
The only caveat is Hurts is very mobile and elusive, and if he can make like 2016, 17 Russell Wilson plays on the run, they could be dangerous. But
They
he's gonna
could be.
have to play like that.
They could be. They could be. I just don't see it happen.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see it happening either. But if he could turn on that, might be in for something special. But doing it week in and week out is a whole other story than one week. Next, we're moving on. Sunday games. We got the early games. We got Panthers, Saints. Nothing really much in this one to excite me at all. Bottom of the barrel teams. I don't think either of them will be in the playoff race, to be honest myself. What do you think?
I'm taking Carolina. I think it's. I think it's. Like I said, I think that Carolina is going to show up in some of these games, and I think this is one of the games that they have to take. It's a division game for them. If
Yeah.
they want to show up and if they want to play out and maybe out of nowhere make the playoffs because we know how that division is. This is the
Yeah, that's true. You
this
could
is
end up
this
7-9, seven and
yeah.
10, and win it.
Yep. So this is one of the starts here. I think Carolina is going to be taking it against the Saints.
I disagree. I think the Saints will take it because I think the Panthers are still too young and inexperienced. Bryce Young hasn't done what I could every time I watched them last year, they scored under 24 points or under 20 points, or they would be shut out. That was the two options that was happening. And their defense is not going to save them in any games, so it's literally up to their offense every single game to put up the points to win it. I saw them lose a couple games that they should have never lost last year either in the fourth quarter and whatnot. Give me the Saints. I don't even know who the quarterback of the Saints is right now.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. I'm not betting on Derek Carr any day of the week, but this week I guess I'm taking Derek Carr.
All right.
I have way less trust in Carolina to do something than I do for Derek Carr to throw 3 touchdowns.
Damn.
All right. We shall see what happens in that game. Let us know what you think. Carolina versus Saints. Who do you have winning week 1?
Yeah, that's a terrible game. Vikings Giants is another one we got going on. Kind of a terrible game again. But LiveZone, I kind of know who you're going with. Let's just make the pick and move on.
I don't know if you know who I'm going with. I'm going with the New York Giants.
Exactly.
I think. Listen, They have all the weapons in the world. They have Aaron Jones, they have Addison, they have Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson, but they have Sam Darnold with a bad offensive line throwing to them. I think it's New York Giants all day. I think the rookie is going to stand out in Malik Neighbors. I just have a feeling that we're going to see a different Daniel Jones than what we've been seeing the last year and in preseason. I think that he's going to do a little bit better. Expect a pick or two from both of these quarterbacks, but I'm taking Daniel Jones over Sam Darnold all day.
Yeah, I'm going Giants. I hate to say that out loud, but I think this is going to be a horrific game. I think it's going to be like 18-12. Like I think it's going to be a horrific game. Lot of turnovers, lot of kooky plays, lot of weird things.
Expect a lot of Justin Jefferson, and that's about it.
Yeah, like I don't know what's gonna happen in this game. Truthfully, I kind of eager to see it, but I don't want to watch it. I want to see how it pans out, but I don't want to watch it.
I agree.
So I'm going Giants on that one for sure. Vikings, no quarterback anymore, barely a running back. What do they got? Dalvin Cook? No, they got rid of him. Who'd they get over
Aaron
there?
Jones.
Aaron Jones, yeah. That's the only spot I think that there's anything going on for the Vikings, and Justin Jefferson, of course, he's going to be there always. But yeah, give me Giants. We also got Patriots, Bengals, and LiveZone. I think it's hot take time. Who you got?
I think it's hot take time. I'm taking the New England Patriots and their defense. I think that the reason, hold on, before you say that, Keon White is going to anchor this defense with Christian Gonzalez. And then after that, on the offensive side, you're going to have a lackluster Jacoby Brissett throwing to a hell of a rookie in Polk. I think Polk is going to be the reason why the New England Patriots take the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1.
Hell, I don't hate it, okay? I don't absolutely hate it. I know a lot of people are probably going to come for you on that one. I don't hate it, but I can't willingly look at both of these rosters and say the Patriots are going to win this game. I know Joe Burrow. I know everybody's saying Joe Burrow ain't him, all this stuff. Listen, I don't think he can get it done in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, but I think he can get it done during the regular season. I think he can beat a team like the New England Patriots. So I'm going Bengals.
Listen, I'm saying this with everything that I have in me. The Patriots defense will always be the Patriots defense. They will always be one tough son of a bitch to go against. And with the Cincinnati Bengals not having an offensive line, not having their connections with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins because they wanted to take the whole preseason off, I don't think Joe Burrow can get it done in the likes of these situations with no Joe Mixon and no tight end. I'm just saying, I am taking the New England Patriots right now.
X, clip this for when it's 24-3 at halftime. Cincinnati. All right, we're gonna have to see. We got a three of them we're on different sides. Two of them we agree with. Let's keep it running. This is an interesting pick. This is actually a great game. Now that I'm looking at it, the Steelers versus the Falcons, Week 1.
Oof, this one's hard. I like what the Pittsburgh Steelers put for their offense. I like the situation that they got. It really depends on who plays for me. If Russell Wilson plays, I'm picking the Falcons to win the game. If Justin Fields plays, I am picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. It really just depends on who plays. As of right now, I'm looking at Russell Wilson as a starter because that's who they got on their depth chart as a starter. I'm picking the Falcons.
Yeah. It's an interesting matchup. You got Kirk Cousins against Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. You know, I don't like betting on Kirk Cousins at all. So just give me the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's the only reason why.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I think they're very similar teams.
I look at Drake London, Darnell Mooney. I look at Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson with Algier as their running backs. Falcons have way too many options for Kirk Cousins to really mess this up, in my opinion.
I know, but they've had weapons. They had weapons for him in Minnesota, and he still messed it up.
Not like this though. Like these weapons are
Yeah,
gonna be.
Dalvin, Justin, who was out of the back that he always threw to? Not out of the back, the wide receiver, Thielen. Yeah, Hawkinson. Bro, come on.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that these young guys are going to get it done. And if not, then Falcons are going to turn to like week 4, week 5. They're going to turn to
Penance.
Penix, and
Yeah.
then that will save their season. But I feel like there's way too many options for him to mess this up for me in week 1.
Just remember, Kirk Cousins for his career is a 50-50 quarterback any
I
day.
understand. I
No
understand.
matter what. That's what it's going to pan out to. That's what the average averages out to. That's it. He goes 14-3 in the regular season. He loses first round in the playoffs, and then starts the season 0-6. That's how it
Yep.
goes.
Yep.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Maybe Kirk Cousins can prove me wrong. You like that? You like that? You know? I'd love to see it. Love to see it. Moving forward, we got Texans Colts in a great division matchup. We know who you're going with. So who you going with?
I'm going with the Houston Texans. I
Okay.
think, listen, I have a lot of praise for CJ Stroud and what he's doing in a Houston organization because we haven't seen something like this unless you're talking about James Harden in the last 20 years for Houston. So for that reason, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say that the Houston Texans are going to start 1-0. I do think that their main option is going to be the reason why. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be the one to get it done.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going Texans, CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon at running back. I think Texans can average about 40 points this year with their weapons and their quarterback out there, and their defense don't even have to do anything about it whatsoever. So give me Houston
Super
on
Bowl
this.
pick. Super Bowl pick.
Super Bowl pick for you, brother. As long as PM is in this chat, there's no guarantee of that. Patrick Mahomes is here.
I understand that, but I have a feeling that you're not even going to see Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship.
Okay, that's how. If they don't meet up with the Chiefs at all through their playoff run, I can see it. As soon as they meet up
I
with the Chiefs, it's game.
I have a feeling Aaron Rodgers is coming back with a vengeance. I really do. I think you're going to see the New York Jets going against the Houston Texans in the AFC. I don't know. For me, I'm going to pick Houston Texans going 1-0.
I'm putting 1,000 on Aaron Rodgers gets injured first game of the season.
Oh man, you're going to lose $1,000, buddy.
Moving on, we got Cardinals Bills. I think this. I don't know. Who you got?
Usually, I would pick the Buffalo Bills, but I can't look past Trey McBride. I can't look past Marvin Harrison. I can't look past James Conner and Kyler Murray. I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals defense. I think this is going to be the closest game of week 1. I really do think that this is going to be won by like a field goal or something like that. But I think the Cardinals are going to get it done.
We're gonna say Buffalo's got rid of all their people, including Stephon Diggs. All they got left is James Cook and Dalton Knox, and I don't even think.
They got Kincaid as well, and they also have Keon Coleman, but we shall see what happens. It really
Yeah,
just
but Coleman's
depends.
not doing anything for me. They got Valdez Scantley. If he'll play over him, and then Kincaid is but again, it's Josh Allen leading the team, and Josh Allen is back and forth between being the best quarterback to ever live and being the worst quarterback that ever lived. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the Bills' weapons at the moment, but I do think Keon Coleman could fit in a role.
give me the Bills to beat the Cardinals just because you went with the Cardinals. Moving forward, Titans Bears.
Who is the next one?
Titans Bears.
Oh, easily the Bears. I
Yeah,
don't think
Bears all
that
day.
there's
That's not even a question.
I don't think there's an option there.
No. If Titans win that game, it's a hell of an upset. Jaguars Dolphins.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't think the Jaguars are going to go down without a fight. I'm going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars here to give CJ Stroud a little scare. I think that both of those teams will be in the playoffs this year, though.
So you're picking Jaguars over Dolphins?
I am.
Okay, give me Dolphins over Jaguars. Give me Tua to play week 1 and 2 and then get a concussion in week 3.
Fair, fair.
So give me the Dolphins in week 1 against the Jaguars. Seahawks Broncos. Interesting. Who you got?
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm looking at the rookie, man. I'm looking at the rookie with Gino wanting a contract extension. I don't think that contract is going to be there, especially with gaining that quarterback that they got in the offseason from Washington. I'm liking I'm liking what I'm seeing from Bo Nix. Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton. I like what I'm seeing on that offensive side. Give me the Denver Broncos in a close one.
Giving the Denver Broncos. It's in Seattle, 4 o'clock game. Give me the 12th man, Seattle.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate it. I could go either way with that one,
Yeah,
but
all day either way. All right, we're looking at Raiders, Chargers. Like it, love it. I think I know who you're going with, but who are you going with?
you do know who I'm going with. Like Devontae Adams, I'm going with Jacoby Myers, the rookie tight end, and Brock Bowers. I don't know. I could see Aiden O'Connell going at it with the defense on the other side. I really don't like what the Chargers are bringing to the table this year. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, give me the Raiders all day. What is it? Antonio Pierce, the head coach, coming in for year 2 here
Yep.
with the rookie quarterback. They got Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers on the sides. Their defense has been solid. So, yeah, give me the Raiders all day. I think they might make a sneaky run. Might be in that
Okay.
wild card discussion at the end of the year. Moving on. Cowboys Browns, prime time, 4:25, Sunday, September 8th, in Cleveland. Does Cleveland get a dub against the Dallas Cowboys in week 1?
You already know I'm going with the No, I'm just kidding. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, I like the Cleveland Browns defense, but CeeDee Lamb, like I said, he's going to show up. He's going to ball out. Give me the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys all day, run away with it. CeeDee Lamb, we both had the same pick and the top wide receiver to go in this first week. You know, get the most yards, get the most touchdowns, whatever you have it. I think Dallas blows it out. I think they might even win by 28 to 30 points. It might be a rout. But definitely give me Cowboys all day against the Browns. Moving
100%.
on, we got 3 more games to pick. One more Sunday night, 4:25. Commanders, Buccaneers. Haven't heard much about either of these teams through this entire episode or through the preseason, really. It kind of seems like they've just been doing their thing and trying to stay out the limelight. Who you got? It's in Tampa. Commanders, Buccaneers.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going with the Commanders here. The rookie and Jaden Daniels, I do think that he will be like a RG3 player in the future, but like that will be a separate video. That will be a separate thing. I do think week 1 he gets it done here. He has Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson Jr. in the backfield. He has Terry McLaurin on the wide receiver route. I like what I'm seeing from the offense. The defense, it ain't the worst, but it's not the best. It's kind of middle tier, but I do think that it will be good enough to win in week 1.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to stick right there with you. Give me the Commanders all day. Buccaneers, just not jumping off the page to me in any way. They don't really seem dangerous. They seem
They got
average,
Baker.
middle of the they seem middle of the pack. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Baker
no.
only wakes up once in a blue moon feeling dangerous. So and he
Yeah.
only says it in a press conference. So who knows? Give me the Commanders for sure. We got Sunday night game and Monday night game. Lions Rams in Detroit for Sunday night, 8:20. I think this could be one of the games of the week, like you said, with the Buffalo Bills and the Arizona Cardinals being the closest game. But I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining games. We all know the quarterback matchup, Goff, Stafford. We all know the history between these two teams and whatnot. So who are you going with?
Listen, history is history. Matthew Stafford is going to get his get back on the Detroit Lions after they just had what I considered as the Super Bowl last playoff season. I'm going to have Puka Nakua having a huge game here and a surprising win for the LA Rams.
On the road, you're going Rams. I'm going home, Detroit. They always seem to let down their fans, but I think that's a thing in the past. So give me Detroit winning a home opener.
And I definitely think that Detroit is going to be one of the top contenders for the NFC. I really do think that they're going to be probably the best team in the NFC this year. But when it comes down to it, that those two teams have too much history, and I just think Matthew Stafford's got to get his get back at this point.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great game. I'm going to be watching that game. And then that leads us to our final game on Monday, September 9th, 8:15 p.m. prime time. Aaron Rodgers back from injury, doing his darkness therapy, doing whatever else he got to do to get it done, smoking weed, taking mushrooms, whatever you want to do, Aaron, you do it. You're 40 plus years old. You got it. Is he coming back and getting a dub for the Jets on the road in San Fran against the 49ers, who we didn't even mention locked down Ayuk after all the trade stuff? They signed him to the team. He's not going anywhere. Got Brock Purdy still over there. CMC questionable to play. Devo, they got the weapons still. They got the weapons back. So is it Niners upsetting Aaron Rodgers' return? Or is Aaron Rodgers finally coming back on the primetime scene and making a statement?
I'm going to say two names, okay? Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson. Those two guys are going to get a lot of games done for the New York Jets this season. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers to surprise everybody, come with the revengeful tour against what should be the best NFC team, but I think is going to drop this season. I'm going to take the New York Jets in week 1.
Give me the Jets as well. I think Rodgers could come out and sling it. I just have no more faith in San Francisco. I left the Bay Area this year, so they're not gonna, they don't got the winning vibes from the Boston kid anymore, bro. It's back out here.
Yeah, and another thing that you also have to look out for is their tight end in Conklin. Aaron Rodgers loves going to his tight
Yep.
ends. And then after that, on the defensive side, you also have to turn around and see Sauce Gardner. I'm not liking the chances for a lot of teams this year when they go against the New York Jets. And honestly, my AFC East pick in the to make the playoffs this year is the New York Jets with this team right now. So if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, the Jets will be fine.
Interesting. I like the Jets way more than the Dolphins, Patriots, and Bills, so I really can't argue with that. Really can't argue with that.
What's up, guys? It's Mazzi with LiveZone Sports. You like betting? I like betting too. LiveZone Sports has partnered with Bet Rhythm, a new AI software betting creator. It creates an algorithm just for you and what you like to bet on. We've done it with our past 11 bets and we have hit 8 of them. NFL football season is coming up and you're not going to want to miss this. Over a 60% accuracy, Bet Rhythm is top in its game. It creates a customized profile for you and customized bet algorithm for you to follow. Even when you lose, it tells you how you could have won. And even better, it tells you for sure wins that are going to happen. It'll have a percentage next to the bet that tells you, oh, this is 74% likely to happen, 69% likely to happen, or this is 35%. Stay away from it. It has the little exclamation mark with the yellow thing around it that makes it like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You might not want to do this. Bet Rhythm. We have a link in the bio for you to go get it, sign up, try it out, little free trial. After that, you can subscribe if you'd like to, but give it a shot. Win some money. Do something, okay? The NFL's here again and ready in your face. Don't be the person losing all the bets. Be the guy on Tuesday at work saying, I just hit the Monday night, the Sunday night, 6 on Saturday, even the Thursday night bet. Get it going. Bet Rhythm.
We're finishing up this week, this long episode. Thanks for bearing with us and hanging out It's a lot to talk about. It's week 1 in the NFL, okay? We're not going to skip on the content. We got power rankings for week 1, top 10. So ESPN listed out their top 10. They got Chiefs in 1, Niners 2, Ravens 3, Lions 4, Eagles 5, Bengals 6, Texans 7, Bills 8, Packers 9, and Cowboys 10. We did our own top 10 list ranking. We're going to run through it kind of quick, kind of not. We're going to give a little insight onto why we have each team there. Maybe explain a little more on the ones that were left off of ESPN's list. LiveZone. Let's go through let's go through your bottom 5 on your top 10 ranking list.
My bottom 5. All right. Well, first, I do want to say that ESPN never fails to disappoint me with these power rankings. I will say in my bottom 5, number 10, we do have the same team. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys at the 10th spot. With the pieces that they're missing in the running back situation, not having a clear second wide receiver, aging tight end, and one of the best wide receivers and quarterbacks in the league, I have to put them at 10. I can't put them any higher. My number 9 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, you guys have all the options in the world, but you don't have that offensive line to hold back anymore because your 2 best offensive linemen ended up retiring. So that's the reason why that they're number 9 on my spot. Number 8. I really don't think you're going to have a very good season from this team. I'm picking the 49ers at my number 8 spot. I do think that they should be in top 10, but I think they are going to drop significantly. Brandon Ayuk doesn't want to be there, but ended up settling for money. Deebo Samuel's always hurt. Christian McCaffrey's already hurt. And George Kittle is going to have to produce some numbers this season. So for that reason, I'm picking the 49ers at my number 8. My number 7, I don't think the team is going to be the best, but I'm going to pick my MVP in the running. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers at number 7. I just can't look past this team and what they're doing right now. They have a young core, adding Josh Jacobs. Jordan Love is still there. Their defense is good. I think they're just going to get better. My number 6, my number 6 going into week 1 then is the New York Jets. I think this is where the AFC East comes in. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers has something to prove. They got the weapons. They got the defense. I can't look past this team, but it's not better than my first 5.
Absolutely. Hey, I don't hate it. I think we got a couple similarities in there. I think you listed the Packers a little low for my liking. That's the only thing
That's
that I
fair.
really didn't like
That's fair.
about that. So going off mine, starting with number 10, I do have the same as you have the Dallas Cowboys. It's 50-50 on what you're going to get every season. On paper, they should be the best team in the league, almost. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 behind the Niners and arguably Ravens, Chiefs. It's interchangeable. But when it comes down to play and it comes down to the games that they need to win, they never show up. They just don't show up. So on paper, they're a top 10 team. When it comes down to the end of the year, they're number 1 in offense, but their production doesn't show where they're supposed to be, and that's why they're at number 10. They can have the numbers, they can have the high-flying offense, they can have the great defense, they can win by 40 points in multiple games, but as soon as they see the words playoffs, they go, oh my God, oh my God. And it's just crazy every time. So put them at 9 because they can't get it done when they need to. Put them at 10 because they can't get it done when they need to. Moving on to my number 9, I'm sliding in a sneaky pick here, and I think it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, I'm sliding them into number 9. I think they're better than the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they are better than the Cleveland Browns, and I think they can compete with the Ravens, but I don't think they're on the roster level as the Ravens. So I see them finishing second in their division. Unless the Ravens have an injury-prone year, then I see the Steelers finishing first in that division and sneaking into the playoffs that way. I do think they are going to be a wild card team, though, for sure. End of the season, no matter what. Probably a 10-7, maybe even 11-6 season for them. Moving up the list at number 8, I do have those Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, they have all the talent, like you said. They have the quarterback. They lost the pieces on the offensive line. Jalen Hurts, I said earlier, has got to act like Russell Wilson when he was playing in Seattle and he made it to those championships all the time. He's got to be making dime passes 50 yards down the field on the run off 1 foot, avoiding defenders all year long. All year long. We know how that works out. You get injured, you get tired, your players go out. Only Russell Wilson has really been able to do that in the years that I can remember. Patrick Mahomes is elusive, but he wins in a multitude of different ways. Wilson was really known for that wide turn and then yeet it to lock it down the field and get that touchdown. And that was a crazy hookup. But if the Eagles don't play that way, I don't know. They're still a strong team on paper, though. They're still a good team. They're gonna be in the playoffs, I do
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
But
Probably win their division.
yeah, it's hard to bet against them with all their weapons, but I think the ceiling that I want them to be at is way higher than what they'll be at.
Yeah,
Moving forward, my number 7 is the Chicago Bears. I love the acquisitions from this year. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, Romeo Dunze. Chicago always has a somewhat strong defense. Week to week, you don't know what you're going to get, but generally, if they're playing in Chicago, they're going to keep you around the 20s. But if they're on the road, they could get blown out pretty quick. But that's I think their offense is really going to make up for a lot of their losses that has happened in the past years, where they just didn't have enough points to put up, or they didn't do good drives at the end of halves to put them in a position to be ahead. It's two teams. It's a two-side system. You know, you have great defense. You need a decent offense that can put up some points. I think this offense is really good and gonna be good if everybody stays healthy. That's the caveat for everyone. Moving on to number 6, I have the San Francisco 49ers at the 6th spot. Again, I know you dropped them down a lot low. You dropped them down to 8, I believe. I
yeah.
have them at 6 because, again, they did get Ayuk. They still have Kittle. He's older, but he can still make the play when he needs to. CMC being hurt is the big worry. Devo picking up slack, and is Brock Purdy really the quarterback for that team? Okay, he led them to the Super Bowl, but he can't get over the hurdle. If there was no weapons on that team, are they a 500 team with Brock Purdy? I don't know. So there's a lot to be desired in this. I mean, this team should have won the Super Bowl in the past 3 years. Like they should have another championship in this past 3 years. They don't. That's worrisome to me, and they're going to be playing anxious and scared because they're worried about losing their team and blowing it up, and they're not going, oh, we're going out there to win. It's a different type of vibe in San Francisco. I don't really like it. So that's why they slid out of the top 5. So Live Zone, who is your top 5 for this year power rankings?
All right, my number 5, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Listen, you could not have a top 5 list without Lamar Jackson there. Lamar just got Derrick Henry. He still has Mark Andrews. He still has Zay Flowers. He still has Nelson Aguilar. He still has options that he can throw to, and he can also run the ball when he needs to. I think this team is going to be perfectly fine. I just don't think they'll be as good as these next 4 teams. My number 4 is then this is where I put the Chicago Bears. I think that with the options that he has, with Caleb Williams being the quarterback that he is, he can throw off the run, he can throw the ball in the pocket, out of the pocket, no matter what. He makes things look easy on the field, and he's going to utilize that and make it easy for these wide receivers to catch the ball. And not even just that, nobody's talking about DeAndre Swift, which is their core running back right now, and they also have a few backup running backs as well. With a good offensive line, they just have to worry about the defense. But if they can score more than 20, 23 to 28 points a game, I think they'll be perfectly fine, and I think Caleb Williams is the guy for that. My next team, number 3, I went with them as number 1 last year. Give me the Detroit Lions. I just can't look past this great team with the fans behind them and everything like that. They're really pushing Detroit to be one of the teams for the future and for the present. And I'm not against it. I think the Detroit Lions really deserve it after they had Barry Sanders and that didn't go well, and after they had Megatron and Matthew Stafford and that didn't go well. They rebuilt. They made a hell of a star in Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Gibbs, and Jared Goff, and you have Sam Laporta as well. I really like what the Lions are doing on offense, and we haven't even spoken about their defense yet. So I'm going to put the Detroit Lions at my number 3 spot. My number 2, I'm going with the Houston Texans. Houston Texans. This is really it's their year. It like the same way that the Detroit Lions year was last year. This is their year to mess up. The Texans are either going to win it all and they're going to show everybody why CJ Stroud is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, or they're going to come up short just by that much. So for that reason, I'm putting the Houston Texans. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Me and ESPN have the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1. I cannot look past Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. They just got Hollywood Brown. They just got Juju back. They also have the rookie and Xavier Worthy with Pacheco as well. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs as my number 1.
Oh yeah, seems like we have a lot of the same teams in here. We did disagree on a couple. ESPN having the Bills and the Bengals in that top 10 is wild. Um, that's just some blasphemy. So as for my top 5, at number 5, I have your MVP Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers looking very good. I think that division is going to be a hell of a division this year between the Bears, Packers, and Lions. I think from probably week 12 on, every single game in that division is going to matter. And that's crazy. It might even be week 10. It might even matter from then. Obviously, every game matters, but when you're trying to win a division and one team's your second place team's 5 games behind you with 5 weeks left, you're kind of locked in.
And
But
in the NFL, division matters, unfortunately. So
yep,
we will
100%.
see. We will see a lot of division games that will matter. We will see a lot of division games that won't matter, such as the Carolina Panthers division. Because no matter what, one of those teams are going to get in, even though they shouldn't even be near the playoffs. So
Right. Exactly. So I got Packers at 5, chilling. Moving up, I got the winner of that division, the Lions, at number 4. Okay, it's the experience and the we've been here. Packers made it there last year. Lions made it there as well. Bears have the least experience out of everybody in that division. Packers second least. Lions are now accustomed to being in this position for the past couple years. So here we go. Lions at 4. Moving up the list, similar to yours, I got Ravens at 3. Okay, with Lamar, Henry, all the weapons, all the defense, the ability to run. I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. Got to put him at 3. You've said it already before. Number 2, I have the same as you, the Houston Texans at number 2. I think they're dangerous on paper. I think they're dangerous to cover. I think they have the interesting thing about the Houston Texans is their quarterback's extremely dynamic and can do everything that Mahomes can do. Okay, you look at Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs. I think that might be one of the most underrated receiver combos in the NFL. Okay, though that's a crazy combo. And then on top of it, if you don't get into the red zone, but you get down to the 10 and inside, you have Joe Mixon to clean it up. A rumbling, bumbling body that'll bounce off of him. How many times has Joe Mixon running in Cincinnati from the 4 or 5 yard line? Like half of his touchdowns out there must have been that.
we're going to see the Houston Texans be what the Cincinnati Bengals should have been 2 years ago. That's what we're getting out of the Houston Texans.
Absolutely. I agree with it. But number 1, you still have Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. You really cannot bet against them. This man's put up three Super Bowls in 4 seasons. I mean, he threw a behind the back pass in preseason to Travis Kelce. Like it was like
And that wasn't even planned. He was just mad that the play didn't work out the way it should have.
Yeah, legit. This dude is crazy good, and I don't see it stopping unless there's. The only fear I have is the Brady injury coming, like the '07 Brady injury when they got his legs and he's out for a year. That's the only thing that I see stopping this kid from winning another Super Bowl.
The only thing that you should be worried about is Tom Brady coming back. That's about it. So, but
I just think you can't
until
bet
then,
against the Chiefs. You can't.
you can't. Especially with Hollywood Brown there, with Xavier Worthy, with Pacheco, with Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes there. Their defense still got Chris Jones and all the guys that were there before. It's just they're just continuing to build and build and build, and they're gonna build a dynasty out of it. I swear. If you don't consider it already, they will be in the next few years.
Week 1 of the NFL is kicking off on Thursday, 2 days from now. Might even be 1 day from now by the time we get out of the studio. I think it's about midnight. Just playing. We're going to be watching games. We're going to be posting on socials. We're going to be talking about games. We're going to be putting up bets. We're going to be putting out algorithms. We're going to be talking live on social medias. We're going to be teaming up with other people, East Coast Sports Investors, Rhythm. We got a lot going on. It's NFL season. We're trying to team up with a food place. Like, we're trying to get everything going. Yeah, LiveZone, what do you got to say to the people?
Just there's a lot to stay tuned with, and with everything that's going on, we're just going to continue to bring you more stuff and more things that are going to help you not maybe just win bets, but also maybe
Help your knowledge.
get some good food or whatever, you know what I mean? So just expect a lot for NFL season. It's prime time, and as always,
Stay tuned.